my bread.
A year and a half ago, and now you have more than 50,000 followers.
I was getting a lot of orders. I was making like 60 loaves of bread per week.
We're like, wait a second, we can learn a lot from Maria about how to make bread at home.
I was able to get it past security. They were like, hey, this flour looks suspicious. So they checked my bag.
Welcome to Market of Influence, where I talk to influential people about influential things. Today, bread influencer Maria Baradell of Leaf and Loaf. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
Maria, during coronavirus period, everybody was sitting at home making banana bread, making sourdough bread. There's a whole art to making sourdough bread. You were not making sourdough bread back then.
That's right. I just started a year and a half ago.
A year and a half ago, and now you have more than 50,000 followers on Instagram, many more on TikTok, all around the social media. How did you become the sourdough lady?
Yeah. So I actually started making sourdough because I wanted to make it for my family. And I have 5 kids and they really enjoy eating it, but I became hyper fixated with it. So I started making a lot of it and they couldn't eat all of it. So I started gifting it to my neighbors and they wanted to buy it as well. So all of a sudden I started selling my bread.
All right, so you start from home and you use Instagram and TikTok and social media to kind of tell the neighborhood, hey, I'm making this awesome bread, and it is awesome bread. But something happens, something changed. A few months later, you stop being just a bread creator and you start teaching people about how to make sourdough bread. Can you talk about that transition?
Yeah, of course. So what happened is that my bakery was going really well. It was growing, it was thriving. And so I was getting a lot of orders. I was making like 60 loaves of bread per week. And like I said, I'm a mom of 5. So I had to really find a way to bake more bread in less time. So I figured out that I could bake sourdough bread in loaf pans. Usually people bake it in Dutch ovens and they can only fit 2 Dutch ovens at once in their oven. I was able to 12 loaf pans at once in one oven, and I have a double wall oven, so 24 loaf pans at once.
Well, how'd you do it?
Yeah, so basically the Dutch oven is great because it traps the steam released by the bread. So I put a second loaf pan on top, and that's going to trap. It's going to act like a mini Dutch oven and trap the steam. So I call it the double pan method. And a lot of bakers were fascinated by it, and they started trying it. And yeah, perfect.
So now it's not just neighbors watching you make bread. Now it's people who have micro bakeries in their own homes who are like, wait a second, we can learn a lot from Maria about how to make bread at home.
Exactly, yeah. So all of a sudden now I have another audience of people, and I started just creating a lot of content for them to learn how to make the sourdough, but also how to grow their business, how to sell out every week, and how I market so that people know about my business. So I provide all of those tips online.
So let's talk about the first few months. You're creating 1 or 2 spots a day, 1 or 2 reels a day, and crickets. 100 people, 200 people, so many content creators have that frustration. How did you get past through it, and can you talk about that early days?
Yeah, so I was really creating content for my local customers. So I wasn't really thinking about, I want this to get a lot of views. So I was fine with that. But once I started creating content for the other bakers, I noticed that the more content I put out, the more views I was getting slowly. And so what I was doing is creating 2-3 pieces of content a day. And they were quick little pieces, like little tips, on how to do bulk fermentation, how to do the coil folds, etc. And so that I could create lots of videos. And then the views just started going up little by little from that.
And it really changes once you put one pan over the other. At that point, you were like, wow, Maria's method, right?
Yes, because at that point, then people started trying this method and they started posting on their stories to announce it to their customers. And they would tag me like, we're trying Leaf and Loaf's method, and sometimes they will just post it for their other bakers that follow them, saying, you guys should try this. This is amazing. It's transforming my business. Because a bread oven is like $9,000. So people were saving all of that money because now they are able to use their home oven.
How many people have micro bakeries in America? Is this like every neighborhood in America has one person who's selling bread out of their home, or cookies or cakes?
I will hope so, but not really. So the market is growing for sure. I think it's due because we have now content creators that are creating a lot of content about it and getting people interested in offering this to their communities. I believe that it's actually something that we could have more of, and that way we can bring more like healthy food to our neighborhoods and improve the food system in America and really in the world. So my mission is bringing bread back to every neighborhood of America and the world, and I want to have a bakery in every neighborhood.
Okay, awesome. So the double pan was a big deal, but then one day you go on an airplane ride. I want you to tell the story about this airplane ride and how love and hate can meet on social media.
Yeah, absolutely. So I was already going viral, some of my videos for the double pan method, but I wanted to bake bread for my sister that I was traveling to Spain to. And so I took my starter and flour and salt and water. I was able to get it past security. They were like, hey, this flour looks suspicious. So they checked my bag, and I bought the water once I was past security. But I recorded myself making bread in the airplane, and I was very careful I knew that they were serving pasta, they were serving bread, they were serving crackers. So that's what I thought about, but people just didn't like that.
People were pissed off. You got a lot of hate on the comment section. Yeah. People were like, why you bring this into a dirty environment? Why are you putting flour in everybody's oxygen?
Yeah.
How did you turn that from a negative to a positive?
Right.
So, and by the way, you had how many views on that video?
On Instagram, 4 million views, pretty similar on TikTok.
So 8 million videos from just creating a piece of flour dough in an airplane.
In an airplane, yes. Several people were commenting that an airplane is the dirtiest place to do that. But actually, I had several comments saying that airplane air is actually the cleanest there is, because they have a lot of like filtration systems in place, especially after COVID. And I also had like hand sanitizer and sanitizing wipes, or like people were saying like, you're bothering other passengers, but not really. I was able to mix the dough before my seatmates even got there. And I asked them, and they were super excited about it. The flight attendants didn't even notice. Other passengers didn't notice. I was very, very quick and respectful. So it wasn't really a big deal. But I did get some comments about the celiac, the particles of flour in the air. And so I did apologize. That's how I handle it. I apologize. I didn't know that could circulate in the air, and the air was recycled. Thankfully, like nothing happened, but I make sure that to make another video just because my video was for my audience of bread lovers. So I wanted to, they loved it, and they were like, I want to do it. So I make sure to tell them, hey, this is not a good idea.
But your second video, which you apologize and all that got like 100,000 views.
Yeah.
The 8 million views came from the controversy. They say there's no such thing as bad publicity in our world. After this video surfaced and you got all these millions of views, you got a lot of new followers, but you also ended up on TV and the media and many other, you got a lot of earned media from that as well, right?
Correct.
So I guess that saying does go well. Maria, let's talk about communities, right? The people who are really interested in home baking and all that. I think the big story for content creators from your case study, whether people are making pickles at home or carving wood or breaking bread, is that ultimately you don't need to create content for everybody. You have to really create content and think about the community that you're creating content for. How are you adding value? Can you talk about that?
Yeah, absolutely. So I try to think of who is my target audience, which now is this baker. And I try to think about their pain points and their problems, and how can I offer solutions. And so I think of those pain points, and then what solutions I can talk about. And then that basically just a framework for all the content that I can create. And that's how you position yourself as an expert in the area, and also someone who's always providing value, and people like to follow that.
And another way is to offer awards. Can you talk about the Sourdough Awards that you ran last year?
Yeah, so I was thinking about that there wasn't like an award for creators that there are many people who make sourdough that don't even like sell it. So they just make it for the love of it and to show people how to make it and how to score it beautifully, etc. So I wanted to say thank you to them and to honor them. So I got some sponsors to give some prizes to 21 winners of the sourdough awards in different categories. And yeah, that helped me position myself as an expert in the field and just create like the community together for something.
You're talking about providing value to the community. In addition to all of your videos, you have 2 ebooks, you have courses. Can you talk about some of those things?
Yeah, absolutely. So I have an ebook. People kept asking me for my recipe, and that's like the bread and butter of my bakery. So I know that there are several accounts that give recipes for free, but people wanted to know why my dough was looking so nice because theirs is sticky and theirs doesn't come out of the container like that, etc. So I started selling my recipe. The ebook with my recipe and my methods is $20, and I sold a lot of those. And then I also have lots of people were asking me questions about how to start a micro bakery because they were inspired by my content and how to market it, how to grow it, how to sell out every week. So I kept answering those questions, but then I just put together an ebook with all of those answers in one place, and so a lot of people have bought that. And then what I did is that I turned that course, and I've added a lot of things to each lesson. I've added videos and lots of bonus materials like pricing and profit calculator and financial tracker for bakers, specifically designed for bakers. I teach them how to monetize their account online, which is not something other bakers are teaching. And so I share with them a list of affiliate programs specifically designed for bakers, brands that they could partner with, etc.
So you teach the business side of.
Correct.
I want to ask you about the role of personality in content creator, and not only the personality of you as a content creator, but the personality of dough, because dough is a lot of fun on the screen. It moves, it shakes, it swirls, it rolls. Right? Talk about that.
Yeah. So I think that brings a lot of excitement to my content. Is like just seeing the dough dumping from the bin. I think that people really stop to watch that. Or it's very calming to see somebody just working the dough into the shape. So I think that's good to watch and people find it interesting. Does that answer your question?
Yeah? Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah. So any final thoughts for somebody who's starting out? They're really passionate about something, right? They have a hobby, they have a passion, they have an area of interest. You went into a space where there are 10,000 other content creators. What are some key lessons or key pieces of advice you want to give to people who are starting out?
I have a couple good ones. I think that finding something that you are really good at, finding something that it's the thing that you want to talk about. It has to be something that you're really passionate about and that is really helpful to others. And you don't really need to reinvent the wheel. In this case, I came up with a method that was very unique and had not been talked about before. But I feel like if I stop talking about it today, then a year from now, there is somebody else who's going to post about it, and a whole other group of new bakers or people that have not been exposed to me will find it, and that person will be like two-pan method person, right? So finding something that you are passionate about talking and just keep talking about that. And yeah, just try to create content that is going to keep people watching, even if it's a 5-second video that people watch 20 times, or a video that is a little longer that provides so much value within the video that people keep watching. Algorithms and social media platforms really love that, and videos that are going to bring other people to the platform. So things that people share and tag others on.
So it's all about empowering the community and allowing them to meet each other and all that. Maria, thanks so much. That was awesome. I got a lot of value out of this. I hope all of our viewers did too. And thanks again to everybody watching The Market of Influence, where I talk to influential people about influential things.
Thank you
for
having me.
All right.